Hey, we all like to go out to eat, don't we? Sure we do. But do we ever think what happens behind the kitchen doors? That's what this show's all about. With a man who's spent a couple of years behind those kitchen doors cooking up some things.
A little bit more than 2 years.
Couple of years, maybe. Chef Pascal, welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Today we're going to veer a little off topic, but I think it fits into the whole idea of hospitality, which is what? How to do events.
We can make sure our audience are going to understand this is not so off topic as it looks like.
I thought this is your other gig. This is your side business because you're a CEO and you're a co-founder and consultant for this organization, which puts on events with businesses and influencers.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about how restaurants could and should do more of this.
So first, let's mention our guest today.
Please.
Anne Tammel.
Thank you.
Anne Tammel, actually, we know each other for some time. And you know...
How?
My food.
It's food that brings out always people to you.
So we are food connected. And can you tell us when did you first
sample cuisine?
We connected on Bristol in Newport. I had moved down to Balboa Island from the Silicon Valley, and I felt like a stranger in a strange land. I was ready to go back home, and I was driving one day, and I found your épicerie. And I walked in, and I was in complete heaven. I felt like I was in France, and I realized someone brought France to Orange County.
And you mean there was no such a thing like my restaurant in Silicon Valley?
There might have been in Silicon Valley, but yeah.
In fact, I went back to Paris trying to find what you had, and I couldn't find it there either.
And can you tell us why you were in Silicon Valley?
I was born and raised in San Jose. I call myself a child of the Silicon Valley. So I started originally as a writer, but I started my career working in PR and strategy for the top PR firm that launched the Macintosh for Steve Jobs and all of the tech giants of its time, led by a lady named Andy Cunningham.
Yes, and we're going to talk about in a few minutes.
Yes.
And so this is where it all starts. That was a seed in your head about the business and the business communication as well. Yeah.
Yes, and they're very much intertwined.
So let's talk about the organization. Let's bring it up front here. So this is an organization called what that you guys created down here?
The OC CEO Collective. And we've recently expanded into SoCal Women in Business, but the OC CEO Collective has a beautiful history that also traces right back to Bristol. Pascal's restaurant, which I consider Pascal the heart and soul, cultural heart and soul of Orange County, because he brought...
I like that. I like that claim, and I think it's true, because I think restaurants in general are the cultural heart and soul of any community, and yours, because it was so famous and so beloved for so many years, I think fit that for many people.
Yeah, it's very appreciable when you go in the dining room and you see your guests are connected.
Yes.
You know, not just by the food, they are connected because they have the same desire, the same needs. And then that's why you cannot cut that relationship. It's too big.
And it combines everybody. You go into a fine dining restaurant, you see everybody from every walk of life there. People that are celebrating a birthday, people that come there regularly, people that are CEOs, people that are just average Joes. Everybody is out there to enjoy something special.
Restaurants, it's part of the social community.
It really is.
It's very important. And it's good as a chef to understand that it's not just cooking and serving. There's more than that.
It's more than fast food. It's more than people just come in and pick up food and leave. There's a connection to the what you're doing. It's a special night out for many people, and it does bring them together in a way that I don't think many institutions do. So why put Pascal Olhatz? He hands me another card. I've known him for a while now here. I didn't know he had 2 cards in his wallet here.
I give you only 2. There's more than 2.
There's more than 2. I'll bet there are.
Yeah.
Pascal Olhatz.
More than the chef hats. Different hats.
Why are you the co-founder and consultant to this?
That's a good question. Because it's a great story. And it's also food related.
Okay.
We were in a fine dining restaurant having meetings because Anne as an author and a publisher, she has her own publishing business.
Yes.
And she did publish several books. Like we have a new one that's not even published yet. This is
the galley copy.
This is a galley copy.
Yeah.
We will be launching it April 16th right here. And I know we're getting ahead with the story a bit, but April 16th we'll be at the Paul Mirage School of Business, and we are launching the first annual Global Women in Innovation Summit. And several of the women speaking are actually I interviewed in this book. And we've got women from all over the globe coming together and giving their take on how they've revolutionized their field maybe, or found a new way to come together, leaders and innovators. And it's a fascinating collection of dialogues from leaders all over the
And where can they find that event if they want to attend? This is at Paul Mirage School of Business. It's a big deal right here on campus at UCI.
But and Anne has a website for the
since we brought that up, let's at least tell people where they can go see that event on the 16th.
We have, for certain, if you go to our website, OCCEOcollective.com, you will find a link to join. And I believe the link to join is eventcreate.com/e/global women. So I can try to attach the link.
Yeah, if they just
I want to go back to that.
I want to hear the story, though. Why are you in this
How we came up with the idea first. That, we talk, we had lunch.
Because last time I looked, you're not one of the global women leaders here.
You know what?
He's a global leader.
I really appreciate women's works.
Yes.
I really appreciate women's leadership. And I'm sorry, don't put our male audience down, but they have the power, and they know how to get together. They're even stronger than men who are more individual.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So this is why
men are more what's the word, competitive, and women are
they
more.
They want to be single leaders.
And women are more cooperative, I think.
They want to be single leaders, and so. Women groups are so powerful on Russia guys, it's going to get bigger and bigger. So we were in a restaurant, in a fine dining restaurant, I cannot say the name, and we look around, and we really liked the restaurant. I went there several times for meetings, and we need to do something to help this restaurant succeed. And we did look again around and say, it's mostly, of course, it was male.
Business leaders, men's hangout.
And I say, maybe we can bring more people in by creating, because it's in a business area, to create some CEO events.
Into a restaurant.
Because I work with many CEO clients and I wanted to bring them there. I said, how do we because Pascal... knows everyone. I said, can we solve it? I want to bring a group of CEOs here to meet regularly. And that's when it came up about the restaurant.
Put all that together on the restaurant, also a couple of events that Anne was organizing. And she's now also an event producer. Because
sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah,
from writing to
by
producing.
Surprise.
You have so many layers, very similar to a catering producer, that you have to have a sound system, you have to have a food, work out with a location.
You've got to get people there.
And people there, so you have to publish, you have to collect, you have to advertise, and you also have to, on another level, she needs to have entertainment. The entertainment are speakers.
It's a show, and people have to show up, and that ain't easy to do. Yeah.
And they need to connect and be happy once they're there. And didn't we, actually, the last time I was here, we were talking about the Women in Business Forum that I was hosting in October 2024 right here at the Cove.
Yes.
And I had asked Pascal to cater, and he looked at me like, are you kidding? And I said, please do this is so important. And so he thought about it a while and generously sponsored his catering, great deal of it. And we didn't know what we were going to get because I had never put an event together before, but I drew on what I had learned in the Silicon Valley about creating diverse circles and connecting people and bringing them together. And by October 10th, we had 200 women at the Cove.
Wow.
And they stayed all day. And even the event producers at the time said, how did you get all of these people not only here in 2.5, you got them to stay, and they're dancing together, 200 women from all different cultures, age groups, industries, level of their career, dancing together at 2 p.m.
Yeah, it was very special, very successful, and memorable now. And
It was Pascal's food. That's what
It
did
was. People don't realize the power.
and maybe my accent, because I was one of the speakers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was it.
Kind of all give it all sideways of not being too.
It's
I
that
was
French accent that
serious.
gets everybody in a good mood.
Yeah, it's important. And so I compliment our guest and for that, because and I say, okay, let's keep it going. And she did. And
So what does this organization do? CEO Collective is what? That you guys
We
have now founded and brought along here.
we started talking about CEO events, but what I bring to it is CEO peer advisories and one-on-one strategic consulting, leadership consulting, and then we also have our events, which would not be Pascal's at the center of that. Bringing CEOs together the way that they did. We ever get to hear about how they gathered at your restaurant on Bristol, and what a heartwarming place that.
yeah.
We
I
need
was
to go
gonna
back
ask
to
you,
those memories to
Yeah.
understand where the beginning before the beginning.
yes.
Let me see if I can tie this together a little bit to the restaurant show here today. I know this is a secondary kind of topic, but it does fit into the restaurant world and hospitality, which is today, more than ever, restaurants have to do more than just open the door and wait for customers to walk in. They have to do catering. They have to maybe do takeout. They have to do Uber Eats and other sorts of things here. And they got to find other reasons for people to come in the door. Maybe it's special events like wine tastings or food pairings or other sorts of things. Or maybe it's just events where people come and gather, 20, 30, 40, 50 or more. Some show up for and break bread and do their event there. Did you do that in the old days? Or did you? I got the feeling you were more the traditional restaurateur. You opened the door and waited for people to come in. Other than catering. I know you did catering.
Yeah, I wanted to be traditional, but it was not under my control. That actually business leaders used to come to my restaurant, have sometime one-on-one business meeting. And I cannot reveal some of the topic they were discussing, but some major leaders in the business of Orange County, in Orange County, developers, but also politics. I've been involved with a lot of political events with politics leaders I cater to. So Orange County is very active on that.
Restaurant's clearly a place to go and have a business meeting. You gather for that. But I'm thinking of big events like she's talking about where you bring in 20 or more people into a thing. Not every restaurant's set up to do that. They don't have a private room. They don't have a place to do an event.
And Orange County actually is very developing in that direction. And here we are at UCI. Right. And UCI offer some great location.
For Paul Mirage School of Business, the Cove here where we are at the UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center. There are events places. But I go back to this. Do restaurants think of bringing in a large group? They do a birthday party or something. You want to have your birthday there. Okay, we'll set us up. We'll push some tables together and we'll have 20 people in a corner. But not every restaurant is set up to do that or really goes after that kind of group business.
One distinction I would love to bring up is that Pascal not only brought the food, but he made this a cultural center of Orange County, and people came from all over, even LA County, to gather there because he created a certain type of space where leaders could actually come together. And it wasn't just leaders. I spent every important day of my life I spent at Pascal's restaurant. But there's also the French art of conversation and he made that space possible for leaders to come together and hear one another, create a dialogue, and listen and learn from one another.
How did he do that others can learn from? What was it? Was it just was it a quiet space? Was it a comfortable space? Was it a place you could gather more than 4 at a table or something? I don't know. What is it that you do?
It's quite simple. You need to give. First, talking about space, you need to give some distance from one table to another.
Right.
You cannot overcrowd one section of the restaurant. Every section of my restaurant had no more than 20 seats. The noise level is low, and you have to keep it open. Just really an open space. And
so many restaurants today, particularly chain restaurants, try and pack them in. And
Yes.
it's very
They
crowded.
want noise, and they put loud music, and
Yep.
Yep.
And they have
And
no
the-
carpet in there, so
Yeah.
and they have high ceilings, so it creates an auditorium kind of reverberation in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And the pacing.
Yeah.
The pacing is everything.
Yes, and no screaming chef. No. And maybe that was the only thing.
Yeah.
People used to come to hear my voice.
What?
Pick
I,
up.
I remember you were a scary figure walking through there back
See?
then. It was like,
See?
whoa, Pascal just walked by. There goes the legend.
Yeah.
But truly, the pacing is a
Yeah.
very important topic that I believe if restaurants want to attract these kind of cultures and businesses, you need to be able to have a conversation
Yes.
and not be interrupted
What
constantly.
I do is businesses or is proposal.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of proposal in my restaurant.
But don't you think today most restaurants, because it's so expensive, they're trying to pack as many people in as they can. They're
Yes.
trying to turn them as quickly as they can. So they're
Yeah,
always
we
kind of
cannot
pushing you
go
out the door.
against that because a lot of them have to respond to demand from corporations and pay the bills. And but there's not many successful high-end, I would say, social restaurants. you
No,
know,
I'm struggling.
and
I-
even romantic.
Even romantic. I'm struggling to think it to me because they want to. It's packed in, it's bright, it's noisy. They have no carpet. They have high ceilings, so it is like in a gymnasium or an auditorium. And they crank music into it. So that's supposed to be energy, but it's very hard to talk in.
Well, it's an energy that make you leave earlier.
It does,
Yes.
right? Exactly.
Yes.
Because you get tired, not just but what you dine late. It's because
Right.
the noise level on the
You don't
conversation
linger
is-
there.
yeah.
You don't sit and linger there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
old-fashioned restaurants were much more comfy chairs, spread out, quiet atmosphere, and you would tend to linger more. And I think businesses would tend to meet more. Different
Yeah.
times, different atmosphere.
So that's why I'm sorry to talk about that, but COVID did good for the restaurant in a way for afterward because we had more and more outdoor space dining now.
They were forced to move it outdoors or
Yeah.
forced to do other things like Uber Eats and pickup and
Yeah.
catering
so
and delivery.
restaurant now did their best to have a little terrace patio, sidewalk patio. They closed some street like in Laguna Beach
Right.
or
Huntington Beach did that a lot.
Yeah.
They let them go out. So you had your
bringing
friend.
more European culture.
Yeah,
This France and Italy, there's sidewalk dining is sometimes
Huge.
everything.
Yeah.
There's no place to walk now.
Yeah, exactly. So you had your friend from Nirvana here in a while ago, and she said, I thought the most true statement I've heard, you can't rely on one source of income today to restaurant. You have to do catering, you have to do takeout, you have to do events, you have to create your own events and bring people in. You have to be multifaceted. You can't just open the doors and say, here, come on in.
Yeah, totally, you have to do that. So let's move on back to your business. And you want to talk about the leadership. You want to globalize Orange County business, correct?
Yeah, basically, there's a lot of movement around Orange County establishing itself as a hub of innovation. And also, it's become known as a more of a strategic place for global trade, for access to Southeast Asia. And so,
Would you compare Orange County, especially in this area, with Silicon Valley? It's like a little similar way to open up to the world.
this is interesting because when I created that event, I used a model that I had developed from growing up in the Silicon Valley, which was one of the most culturally integrated cities in the world. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's how I brought all of those women together. And that's how we established uniting and empowering women in business. And now with the Global Innovation Summit, we're establishing uniting and empowering women worldwide. Because what we're finding is that the problems that women are facing in Newport Beach aren't that different from the problems in Sao Paulo or Nairobi. It's fascinating. And I spoke with a woman from Singapore recently. And she said, I had no idea that women in Newport were facing this. And they said, that's exactly what we're working to dispel. And you think that women here in South Orange County have this plush life and we our path is laid out for us, but that's absolutely not the case. And most of the CEOs we've attracted have been women because there is no real funding and there's no real pathway for women within organizations. They're actually cutting the programs that would advance women.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to privately fund organizations like this because the government has taken that away. So those of us who see the future and know where we're going, which includes Pascal.
I know. I went through what you went through. You were part of another organization,
Yes.
and they cut on the budgets. But now you're creating your own, so you don't need to have support. You support yourself by creating a whole new path. And so, what do you offer to already maybe successful, already known, but want to become known business and mostly women business? What kind of business support do you offer?
Our tagline is redefining leadership because I've worked with so many leaders, Fortune 100 leaders, tech leaders, the biggest tech leaders in the universe. But I've learned so much about leadership along the way and what works and what doesn't. And what we're finding is the typical old model of leadership didn't work. And so it's really interesting that women come together and it's not necessarily all about women. We talk to jazz band leaders about how jazz bands form these cultures of listening and learning. And we're hoping October 1st, we're hoping to be back here at the Cove and have a jazz band come and demonstrate. It's about coming together in a different way, and it's no longer a hierarchy. It's a flat level circle. So that's really what we're introducing, and we're doing that in Orange County and making it a model for the globe to follow. And we were bringing in voices from all over the globe.
What a fascinating image. I'm a big jazz fan, and I've always appreciated how the musicians can get together. And the first time they play through the melody, so everybody recognizes the song, and here it is. Then they start improvising. And that improvisation requires not only incredible skill to be able to instantly make something up that fits the melody, but to listen to each other.
Yes.
You have to react to each other.
Conversation is
conversation is like an
like
improvisation.
jamming.
It is exactly
like jamming. You start
completely
one subject and then it moves to another one. So it is conversation musical.
Yeah.
The art of improvisation, the art of conversation is a lost art. Most of us stare at each other and wait for
each
the cue.
individual bring their own character to it. And that's what you do in business too. And that's why we do. And so really, we talked about that earlier. We want to invite food industry, hospitality, business leader to come to your events.
Yes.
Because they're going to learn a lot of way to progress in their corporation.
And it's an innovative concept, but that's what, even if you look at the jazz band model, that's what it's all about. They would go, the greatest jazz band leaders would go and find someone who's completely different from anyone else in the band and put them in the spotlight. And we're constantly having to pivot. And I know there are a lot of chefs and restaurant owners listening. This would be an exceptionally cool and innovative way to pivot, is to come and meet some of these investors, business leaders who need to get together with them and who need a space and start to develop relationships. Are absolutely everything. Start to develop relationships the way Pascal has done, and he's put a model out.
So let's talk about that for a second. So Chef Pascal now teaches at the Saddleback's incredible culinary training institute. Is that what it's called? College. And so it's over at the Tustin Air Base. They got this big space, and they built an automotive center, and they built a...
It's called ATEP.
ATEP, exactly. I forgot what ATEP stands for, but anyway, two big schools. They're an automotive school and a culinary school with state-of-the-art kitchen, training them how to do all this stuff. So you're training these chefs, these wannabe chefs, who will either work at restaurants or own a restaurant. Does anybody teach them how to create atmosphere, how to create conversation?
It's in the plan. My plan is to do you call it entrepreneurial class for restaurant business. And because like you do, someone want to be a business leader, want to just own a small business, but there's too many questions. And bring in people to a different level at a global organization, but bring also people who can sponsor, who can help, who can help them to get a SBA loan, support on consulting.
But on a basic level, I did some consulting with restaurants, mostly getting permits and liquor licenses and stuff like that. And I'd watch them bring a designer in who would then come up with a theme and a concept and a name. This is a Mexican restaurant or a fusion Asian restaurant, whatever the feel was. And they talk a lot about the feeling of the restaurant, but they never talked about the flow of the restaurant, that how guests came in, how they interacted with each other, whether they stayed, whether they left quickly. It was not about a feel. That's something that good chefs instinctively knew how to do, to bring people together and create like a big dinner party. Yeah. And everybody feels invited and welcome and wants to hang out and stay there. That's what you're talking about.
Well, getting back to Pascal's point about coming to this event and getting to know other leaders, this event in particular will have a lot of experts on talking about how to expand on a global level. So maybe you have a restaurant and you want to expand into other countries, or you're dealing with trade issues. This is going to be so valuable because the restaurant industry has been hit so hard by trade and tariffs.
Oh, terrible.
This is going to be so valuable for the culinary profession.
On the 16th or the one or the later one?
On the 16th,
okay.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's very interesting you say that, because at the last event I went, and the speaker was great. Van, what's her name?
Yeah, Van de Lumon.
Yeah, amazing speaker.
Yes.
She come from what, Setu?
She's a Vietnamese refugee, and she was up there, I believe,
and
initially.
I did meet with her to ask her what she think I should do to take our community, I would say, food and our community restaurant industry outside of Orange County. Because it's very important. We cannot do that on our own, because we need to more spread out, and it will bring business into Orange County for the hospitality. And so she had some good input on that. And that's what you do also. If you don't want to be a little mom and pop business, you can also look bigger. And then when you become a community leader, I think I am, because I have a network, and you the opportunity to get bigger.
Yes. And going back to Van, she is exceptionally creative. She will be speaking. She's one of our keynote speakers on the 16th of April. And I have an interview with her in this book where she talks about her history with coming to America and how her mother met Tippi Hedren with I believe 19 other Vietnamese refugees, and they launched an $8.3 billion $8.3 billion industry. And she's easily as creative as her mother, and she's going to be giving us actually a live interactive activity that you won't want to miss.
I won't say it, but I can have an idea what she wants to do.
Okay.
So Anne doesn't know, but I was sent. Her people are so efficient. We're on their mailing list somehow. And when she's talking to that, wait a minute, I've got a press release on this here. Somebody just sent me this. I was interested. Layla sent the Safavi.
Yeah.
And so I'll just read some of this to give you a sense of what's happening. One of the people that's speaking there is, I guess it's a woman named Andy Cunningham.
Yes.
She helped Steve Jobs introduce the Macintosh to the globe. She didn't just launch a product, she created the methodology. The entire technology industry follows today, apparently.
Yes.
And she had a communications company that grew to 250 people and $50 million in revenue. And she's going to talk about how she did that, how she promoted and publicized and got people talking about, in particular, the Macintosh. You've got some others in here that I recognize. This is all on the 16th. Aurelie Sada, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Director of AI Transformation at Microsoft.
Yes.
And a woman who's been on the show numerous times. She had a show with us for a while, Elaine Blanchette, who speaks at all sorts of events from Davos to the Women's Vatican Power Women's Summit. She was a
creative.
French. She was I forgot, was it Xerox or something? She was in charge of
Fuji Xerox, I believe. And she's also, we've got her story in this book as well about what she's doing to bring cultures together on a global level.
Why have we got all these French women speaking? She's French Canadian.
She's French Canadian and Swiss as well. So it's all about France, but first of all, she's very smart.
Very
Yeah,
smart.
she's very smart, and she's got a lot of wisdom to share in this book. So you can also get a copy of this book. And by the way,
where can we get this book?
come to the event. You can get a signed copy. We have a reception from, I believe, 5 to 7:30. So that's a private reception, a sunset reception on the third floor terrace
I hope
after
I
the
know somebody
programming.
to get into that one. That's what I'm hoping to get into.
I think you might just be able to squeeze in with Pascal because Pascal. So those spaces are filling. That's limited capacity. So please sign up as quickly as possible. And we also
you'll be my plus one.
I'll be your plus one. I'll be your date. Okay.
plus one. And we also have, we have an artist from Sicily, Paris, a makeup artist, doing glam makeup. And then we have
That's
a
what I need.
headshot photographer
I need
who
somebody
does
doing
beautiful headshot photography. So we're going to have a VIP lounge where you can have a little something and be pampered and go in and get your Sicily makeup done. If you're a VIP guest, you can get a Sicily, I believe it's almost $600 value skincare consultation, but then you can get your headshot done and come in and leave with a whole new LinkedIn image.
I can tell it's a women's
new
conference.
look.
Men would never do that. They
I
never
know.
think of any of it. They just come in, they listen, and they leave.
What?
And we're having cultural performers. We're having Indian dancing.
Yes,
we're having a beautiful traditional Japanese dancing. We're having a Chinese. You're the fire horse. We're having Persian dancing.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
we're hoping to end with a Bollywood dance, which is what we did in October of 2024, where all of the women had the greatest time.
Yes.
We have so much. We're adding new performers and speakers by the day.
Who's that one woman? Did she come in your show or
She
something?
came on the show.
Yeah, was a former Bollywood dancer or
RT.
Yeah,
something.
she's going to be there.
Yes, RT will be there.
Yeah.
Leading her dance and doing a traditional Indian dance, which
Because she
is
just did
she's
something at the Bowers,
mesmerizing.
didn't she? Where the Bowers had a
she
big event
an
of
exhibit
Indian
too.
silks and Indian
Yeah.
art and stuff.
She did some art of dancing there too.
All right, so you're tying together a whole disparate community that we've in little ways sampled through the years here at OC Talk Radio.
Yeah.
And somehow it's all going to come together. And where's this? It's here at the Paul Mirage School of Business Auditorium, right here on campus at UCI. It's, what is it?
April 16th, we're opening our doors at 12:30. The program should begin at 1 and go until 5, maybe 5:30.
So it's all afternoon. It's a one-day conference. You get to hear people talk.
So we will learn, we will talk, we'll eat, and we will dance.
Oh my
all together.
goodness! Oh my goodness! At a conference, at a business conference, somebody dances at a business
is a good way
conference.
to do business. No?
Because we're all about making it fun and celebrating life. And if the best leaders celebrate wins great and small. And I think sometimes people forget about that. But by the way, when we launched a Christmas party, a holiday party in December, we had a CEO collective party and there was a CFO party going on right next to ours. And we were having so much fun that the CFOs actually abandoned their party to crash ours. And so now we've expanded. We've got all C-suite and we have two of the top CFOs joining us that day. Eric Bing and Gary Liu, who introduced me to Vun, and hopefully more CEOs. So we're going to have a really fascinating
I have to say,
circle of leaders.
Your speakers are the top speakers. They entertain. They entertain us. They really capture your intention. It's unbelievable. And it's not like a typical
business conversation.
business, you just sit in conference. No, it's a show. It's really a show.
It's interactive, and it is a celebration. This entire day is going to be a celebration of not only women coming together, but men. So if you're a man and you're listening, you have to be there because men are early adopters, and Pascal gets to be at the center of it all because he's an early adopter. He's always seeing future trends and pulling people along with him.
And I think too often when you
we
see
share that in
women
common.
conferences, the men think, I can't go. It's closed to me. It's not. I'm not welcome there.
No,
I won't feel comfortable.
No.
It's the opposite. Like I said, we've got CFOs who crashed our party. We're so glad they did. Ronaldo is another one. We're hoping he'll join us. We have lots of men joining us who are see the future, and so you don't want to miss out.
What's the cost for this whole thing? Are there deadlines and stuff here? Discounts? Anything else we can talk about here?
We have a certain amount of admissions available with a special guest option where it's complimentary. So it would normally be $75 to join in with the program, but if you go in, just register. As long as that special guest option is there, it's available to you, anyone listening. So please save your spot before those go away.
And of course, you have sponsorship option too.
We do have, if you'd like to, we have a few, maybe one or two vendor tables left, but if you'd like exposure among all of these professionals, we're going to have hundreds of leaders and innovators and investors there. We have a couple vendor tables left. You can also reserve by that link that we shared, and a few sponsorship options available. We have the private reception that is limited, so if you see that available, please sign up for that. That's a separate.
Grab that one.
And then there's the VIP option where you get a VIP gift bag, you get front row seating, you definitely get the reception, you get to take photos with the speakers, and the speakers are very cool. They're like celebrity, and you get a signed copy of this book.
Yeah.
They are.
And the name of the book again is
Poets and Dreamers, Global Icons and Innovators. And it's actually a series I'm launching called Redefining Leadership. And I've interviewed so many different thought leaders and visionaries, including the legendary Chef Pascal. So he will be, so far we have three parts to this series. So this is all women. Several will be speaking at the conference, and you'll be able to meet them. And then we've got thought leaders and visionaries and culture, art, and conversation. And we have some fascinating voices coming together here to innovate and co-create new ways of leading come together. Anybody else from the
hospitality industry that you know of that's coming or that you hope will come? You've got so many, because there are many things that unite different parts of our culture. There are events where chefs get together. There are events where tech CEOs get together. There are events where, I don't know, pick something other category. I don't see things that mesh them together very often. That makes sense?
That's what we do.
Yes.
We bring together the unexpected.
One of the events, we had a young chef and couples, actually. They brought in some, gluten-free food making bakery or
that's a hot topic these days.
Amazing.
Was that Chopin?
Yeah.
He came, yes.
Yeah.
He
on pate,
okay.
And then they were doing, so innovators in the food industry. And so we may even bring a coffee company into the show as well, because coffee is a big deal these days.
Actually, Sir Coffee from San Clemente, they're actually planning to take their enterprise to a global level, which is really fascinating because they were born right in San Clemente with the surf culture, and they will be bringing coffee for the coffee break. So you have to come and try Sir Coffee.
Yes.
You'll fall in love with them, and they're the best coffee house in Southern California.
There you go.
All right, so publishing, you're going to have online copies as well, digital.
Amazon.
Amazon. And people will be able to order hard copy if they want to.
Yes.
And what's next?
What's next?
What's
October
next?
1st. We have a few things. We have October 1st. I believe it's a global leadership and innovation summit. That's men and women for certain. We'll have a lot of male speakers highlighted, some who will be in the books coming out. And we also have May 8th. We have a leadership luncheon. That's women focused that we've launched at the Park Club. And we also have CEO peer advisory circles, and it's available to C-suite leaders and executive leaders who need support in getting together and strategizing about how they're going to scale, whether they are having trouble with all kinds of different, it's confidential, but all kinds of different challenges we work through together. But we also work together to proactively build their strategy, and we integrate leadership, executive leadership coaching and consulting with that as well.
So is that an ongoing peer group, CEO peer group that people can join, or is that a...
Yes, and if you buy the book, actually, there's a QR code in the back you can scan and actually sign up for a session, or you can simply go to the OCCEOcollective.com and fill out a form if you'd like to be considered for one. You do need to apply because we group CEOs together. It's non-competitive, so we don't put CEOs in the same industry necessarily together if there's going to be competition, since it is confidential and we're bringing our most important challenges there. But please apply to join us, and we'll invite you for a session. And we're also planning to do some of these sessions online because our CEOs have done so well that they end up traveling and they scale so much so they can log in from anywhere on the globe. In the globe.
There you go.
Yeah.
No. And I'm sorry, I put you on the spot now. I may book a table for something else I'm involved that could be interested to, and will bring people from my industry, and because I'm one of the partners, we are 3 partners in a business called Forecast Solution.
Forecast Solution.
Yes. We go to restaurants who think they are not doing as what they expected to do, and we do some walkthrough, and within a few days we give them a full report. And
Consultants. You come in and tell them how to
more
improve.
a different type of consultant. It's just because we are experts, so we just do an expertise. What's right, what's wrong, what needs to be corrected, and that's it. We don't critic, and just between the restaurant owner and us. That's it. And
So you come in like undercover and take a look and see what's
we
happening.
don't come undercover.
Okay.
The owners know we're here. We go on. It has to be an open book, and we give them some suggestion for solution. Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's set up that table for certain, and they can also come to the reception and
Yes.
meet you and your partners in this,
Sure.
as well.
Yes,
Running a
yes.
restaurant is never been harder. That's one of the common themes of this show. Never been harder.
Well,
Rents,
it
labor
is.
costs, food costs, et cetera, lack of places to advertise and promote and stuff here as the media is fragmented. All these things are making it a challenge. And
It's always been hard.
yeah,
But also, some young entrepreneur want to jump into owning a business, either it's a restaurant or retail or a production company. They don't know how to do a business plan.
no.
Yes.
And we offer that too, to help them to do business plan. You do. Some of your
Yes.
members are
We are.
offering business plans help.
We do have restaurant owners in our peer advisory circles as well. It's made a vast difference in their outcomes.
Because if you don't have someone who knows about it, and you say, okay, I'm just going to only need a key and sign a lease, that's not good.
No.
'Cause
Fast
now,
way to burn out.
yeah, now you got to understand food costs and labor costs
I
and,
have so many pieces.
and promotion.
But
and
it's not just only food, it's just any business.
yeah, exactly.
You have all these side costs.
Sounds like there's a forum now that you can join and have an ongoing group of advisors. There's also places like this that you can go on a one-time basis and interact and meet people and listen to people and maybe get inspired, maybe make some connections, and maybe just get Pascal to sign his section of the book here.
Sure.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Do you charge for
mentioned
that?
Here.
Are you like
he's
a
in all
baseball
of the
player?
books.
Baseball players charge now to sign their baseball cards.
Oh, yeah. No, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. It's business, no? But no, I think I won't go that way. But it's just what pay off for me is the connection. And there's always a connection that come back to you and help you grow in your own business. And I want to thank Anne, my friend Anne Tammel, for bringing this type of enterprise in Orange County, because the business exists, the leaders exist, and but sometimes maybe they feel alone sometimes. And now
All the time they feel alone.
Yeah.
One of the problems I hear all the time, 15 years sitting in this chair, is the lack of connection between business leaders. They're all siloed. They have their industry and they know people within that field, but they may not know somebody in the next building or the next floor or the next down the block. They don't get a chance to interact very often with other business leaders who share different industries, but share a lot of the same issues, fears,
for me,
concerns.
business, of course, a product can be competitive, but business on its own should not be a competition.
No.
Business is about community. Business is, because if you are in a community, you reach out to more people.
Right.
So
But
it's
so many
normal.
business leaders come in here and admit that they feel very alone. You can't go talk to your employees. You can't talk to your staff necessarily and say, I'm not sure what to do, or we've got a choice to make here. You've got to be the leader. You've got to lead. But how do you learn from the experience of others? You go listen to them talk. You read their books. And maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, you build a connection with them.
Well,
a conversation with them. Yeah.
yes, and with Orange County taking more of a place on the stage with global business is changing so quickly, and global trade is changing, and with Orange County becoming a focal point for innovation and foreign direct investment, business leaders are going to need to be savvy about these topics and how to navigate through this. And this is one of the topics that we're focusing on April 16th and in our advisory circles. We've got experts we can connect leaders with as well if they want to expand. And they can learn quite a bit more about that at the summit.
So can you tell us again a few names of your key speaker that will be
I know
there?
Alain Blanchette. I always love saying her name here. She'll be
Hélène Blanchet.
And Aurélie Sada, I believe I pronounced it, but she's flying down from Microsoft. She's led a women's group actually in Singapore to bring more focus to women leaders, and she's talking about enterprise-wide AI adoption. We have Bill Edwards, he's the chair, I believe, of several district export commerce, and we've got Richard Swanson, who also works at the DOC,
great from
the
does he for
commercial
the
service.
Department of Commerce? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. He's locally here. He's fantastic. He does all sorts of stuff about helping businesses
Yes.
grow overseas.
So he'll be there giving some information about how you can contact him for more advice on expansion.
He's worth hearing. I've heard him before. I've met him and talked to him numerous times, yes.
Incredibly generous spirit. Yeah, we're so happy to have him. And Bill Edwards will lead a panel on Orange County being the new focal point for trade and foreign direct investment.
I'm going to have Nancy Cunningham. What's her name?
I'm sorry?
You're the two speakers?
Let's see. We've got Aurélie, we've got Hélène, we've got Amanda Paul talking about Arise and Build. I believe her talk is
And you mentioned
focusing on
Van Lai Damone.
Van.
Yeah.
Van, yeah.
From
She's-
Google and Netflix and Amazon, all those places she's
Yeah.
worked here.
We have a few TEDx speakers
Yeah.
that day, and we have, as I mentioned, Arti Chopra, who's been on the show, is actually our cultural director, and she'll be styling the whole cultural performance team that day. And she's offered to style me.
She's going to make you dance.
They're going to make me dance. I don't know about
Yep.
that one here. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know if I can do my Bollywood shake or not here. Again, one last time, as we wrap up, how do people find this event? Where do they go sign up?
For certain, OCCEOcollective.com, they can find a link on that, and then eventcreate.com/e/global women. And
Okay.
hopefully we can drop a link when we share the video
Yes.
so that they can sign up. And please use the special guest option. Sign up for VIP if you want the fancy,
The full deal.
yes,
The full Monty.
Yeah.
the VIP
full
lounge,
experience.
and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Book signing.
All right. I look forward to sneaking in with Chef Pascal and learning more about this event here. And I thank you for coming and doing it. I thank you for doing these things because we need to connect people. We're too siloed. We're too
Yes.
separate. We're
Yes.
too individual. And as a county, we need to come together to stimulate everybody's
And
business.
this is
do.
probably one of the reasons we're at UCI, because UCI is
Very
a
big
great
on that.
place to do communicative business.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And to assist businesses in growing in these cutting edge technologies that they pioneer here in this building, the UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center.
And I would like to take a moment to thank the UCI Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which is separate. This is the Beal Applied Sciences. But
Right.
Professor Imran Kuram, when I met him actually at our Teas party, I shared my vision for SoCal Women in Business, and he works with Jen Hun, who is a team. They are sponsoring this space. So I want to
There you
take
go.
a moment to thank our sponsors
great.
and for seeing the vision and understanding just what it is that women need as leaders and innovators to get to where we're going, and being so generous and believing in us when all I had was a pitch,
That's good.
making it happen. So
Making it
please
happen.
come and meet them. They'll
Well, you're
also
talking to the people today who are making it happen here in Orange County. Thanks for joining
And
us here
Paul,
today.
remember,
Yes.
all these stuff are on the table.
Let's see. They all meeting around the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just from sitting in a restaurant.
Conversation.
Conversation.
Yes.
So
Relationship.
Not
relation-
behind the kitchen doors, in front of the kitchen doors this time here.
Relationships are absolutely everything. That's what I can't share that enough.
All right. We're going to wrap it up there.
Thank you, Anne.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us here. there you have it. Some exciting news, an exciting event coming up here April 16th, right on campus here at the UCI Paul Mirage School of Business. You can follow all the links and register and join us there as we all gather for this upcoming event. All that and more as we join us each and every week behind the kitchen doors, right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.